Okay, so today we will discuss dimensions of the flywheel ring. So basically, we will design a flywheel for a particular fluctuating turning moment diagram or turning moment. So first, let's go to the nomenclature. What are the things? Capital D is the mean diameter of rim in meters. You can see in this picture we are having the rim. We have already discussed in previous lecture that the main mass or majority of mass is is available in the flywheel rim. Okay. So in designing a flywheel, we are neglecting the mass of this hub and this arm as compared to the mass of these two. The mass of rim is way much high. So we will concentrate on flywheel rim only. The capital D is the mean diameter of the rim in meters. You can see the rim is having internal radius and external radius. The two radiuses are there, so mean radius will be in between them. So mean diameter is the diameter of rim in meters. R is the mean radius of the rim. A is the cross-sectional area of rim in meter square. Cross-sectional. Rho is the density of the rim material in kilogram per meter cube. N is the speed of flywheel in RPM. Omega is the angular velocity of flywheel in radian per second. And V is the linear velocity at the mean radius. Whatever the velocity at mean radius is denoted by V. Okay, in this figure you can see this purple color dashed line actually mean radius. So we can write V linear velocity is equal to omega into R, or you can also write V is equal to pi d n by 60. Such is the value of omega. Omega is equal to V is equal to omega into R, so pi d n by 60. You can write that. Sigma is the tensile stress or hook stress in Newton per meter square due to centrifugal force. Now, what is this hook stress? Let's have a look at it first. Okay. So this flywheel is rotating at higher RPM. Okay, so it will experience the centrifugal force in outward direction, like this. So it will be experiencing the centrifugal force in outward direction. Now you can see that if you see the section above this XY line, you see the section. In this section, forces are in upward direction. Okay, and below that line, forces are in downward direction or in opposite direction, you can say. Okay. So this kind of forces, one is up and one is down. This is actually tensile force, you can say. So now, if I split this flywheel rim about line XY, then what it will look like? It will look like half donut. Okay. So I have removed the below part. So this half portion is experiencing centrifugal force in outward direction, and its resultant force will be in upward direction. So at the cross section, if I cut this section, then at the cross section I will be facing some stress. This flywheel will be facing some stress, or some stress will be developed in material of the flywheel. So this stress is called hoop stress. Similarly, on below half portion, equally opposite amount of stress to maintain the material in stable condition. So this stress is called hoop stress. Okay. So that is the hoop stress. It will be given in Newton per meter square because and it is developed because of centrifugal force. So now consider this flywheel rim and a small element, this hatched element. This element, the small element is actually covering the angle delta theta, or it is subtending the angle delta theta at the center of flywheel. So now if I want to find a volume of this element, then we know that volume is equal to area into length. Okay, here area is cross sectional area of this element, and length, what will be the length? We will consider mean radius. Okay. So if you are given angle and radius, okay, this mean radius is capital R. If you are given angle and radius, then this arc, length of this arc is equal to R into delta theta. R into delta theta. Okay, so volume of this element is area into R delta theta, where R is mean radius. So mass of this small element, if you want to find the mass of this small element, then mass is equal to density into volume. So we are having volume, and if we know the material, then we know the density also. Okay, so mass of this small element dm is equal to rho into this, rho into ar delta theta. And centrifugal force acting on this element, this centrifugal force which is acting on this element, so we know that centrifugal force is equal to m omega square into r. Here we have considered mass of this small element only, that is why we have written over here dm. Okay. So dm into omega square into r. Now substitute the value of dm in here. So we are having rho a r square omega square into delta theta. This much amount of centrifugal force is acting on this small element. ये सिर्फ इस small element पे ही लग रहा है अभी. So if we find a vertical component of this force, okay, so vertical component of this df force is equal to df sine theta, because we are shown that this angle is theta. So if we resolve this df into two components, one is horizontal and one is vertical, this angle is theta, then vertical component will be df sine theta. So now substitute the value of the centrifugal force df. So we get rho a r square omega square d delta theta into sine theta. Now this was the force acting on this small element only. Okay. This df force or vertical component of this df force is acting on this small element only. Now if I want to find the force, total centrifugal vertical component of centrifugal force, total centrifugal force, then I have to find the total centrifugal force acting on this upper half portion of this flywheel rim. So total vertical force acting on this flywheel, a total vertical upward force tending to burst the rim across the diameter xy, as I shown in previous slide. So I have to take integration from 0 to pi. to find the total force acting on upper half portion of this flywheel. So we are taking the integration from 0 to pi. This rho, A, R square, omega square, these all are constants. So sin theta d theta. So integration of sin theta is negative cos theta in 0 to pi. So substitute the value of 0 and pi. So finally we will get total vertical upward force is equal to 2 times rho A R square into omega square. This is the total vertical force acting on the flywheel. So this vertical upward force will produce tensile stress or hook stress as I showed in previous slide. If I show half portion of this flywheel, then this force is acting in upward direction and it will generate hook stress like this, and it is resisted by 2 times P such that 2P is equal to, we are simply substituting the value of force is equal to stress into area. So here we are having two sides, so that is where 2 times P, which is equal to 2 sigma into A. So if you substitute the value of one and equation 1 and 2, or if you compare the equation 1 and 2, then we get 2 times rho A R square omega square is equal to 2 times sigma into A. So we can write sigma is equal to, this 2 will get cancelled, this area will get cancelled. Okay, so sigma is equal to rho R square omega square. Now we also know that R into omega is equal to V. Okay, so we can write sigma is equal to rho means density into V square. So if you rearrange the terms over here, so you can also write relation velocity is equal to square root of sigma by rho. These equations we will use in solving examples. So keep in mind this much amount of hook stress is generated in flywheel. If the flywheel is having density of rho and velocity at mean radius is V. Okay, so rho into V square is the hook stress developed in flywheel. Now, if we want to find total mass of flywheel rim, then we know that mass is equal to density into volume. So total mass is equal to pi dA. Volume is pi into diameter into area multiplied by density. That will give us total mass of the rim. So if we manipulate this equation, then we can write A is equal to m divided by pi d into rho. Okay. So from this equation, we can find out the cross-sectional area required for a particular flywheel. So from equation 3 and equation 4, we can find mean radius and cross-sectional area of the ring. And one more thing to note that if the cross-sectional area of this flywheel is rectangular, then we know that area of rectangle is equal to B multiplied by T. B is the width of rim, B is the width of rim, and T is the thickness of rim. So if you are given the area of cross-sectional area of this flywheel is actually rectangle, then you have to consider this thing. So these are the equations that we will use in solving example. Okay, so let's have a look at an example. I've taken this example from Kurmi book. The turning moment diagram for a multi-cylinder engine has been drawn to a scale of 1 mm to 500 Newton meter torque. Okay, we all know that turning moment diagram. On y-axis we are having torque and on x-axis we are having angle. So scale for y-axis is 1 mm is equal to 500 Newton meter torque and 1 mm to 6 degree of crank displacement. So scale for x-axis is 1 mm is equal to 6 degree. We have already seen this kind of example. The intercepted area between the output torque curve and the mean resistance line taken in order from one end in square meter or meter square માં આ area આપેલો છે. You are given these areas in meter square. So these areas starting from left to right, okay, like this: negative 30, positive 410, negative 280, positive 320, negative 330, and so on. Okay, likewise up till negative 260 square meter. Okay, so these areas are given to you. So from this area you can find out the energy available or change in energy in flywheel. So to convert this area into energy, unit of energy is Newton into meter. Okay, so to convert, or you can say joule. So to convert this area meter square into Newton into meter, we will take the help of this scale. So these areas are given to you when the engine is running at 800 rpm. Engine is running at 800 rpm. The engine has a stroke of 300 mm and the fluctuation of speed is not to exceed plus or minus 2%. Okay, fluctuation of speed, स्पीड में जो फ्लक्चुएशन आएगा वो प्लस और माइनस 2% से ज़्यादा नहीं होगा. तो मिनिमम स्पीड विल बी plus or minus 2% of the mean speed. So minimum speed will be negative, or you can say negative 0.02 times omega, and maximum speed omega 2 will be plus 0.02 times omega. So you are indirectly given the coefficient of fluctuation of speed. And determine a suitable diameter and cross section of flywheel. You are required to find diameter and cross section of flywheel rim for a limiting value of safe centrifugal shear stress. Okay, you are given sigma 7 megapascal. The material density may be assumed. Okay, so material density is given to us. The width of the rim is to be 5 times thickness. So you are given B is equal to 5 times thickness. So this much data are given to you. So first step is to write the given data. So you are given RPM 800. So from RPM you can find the mean angular velocity omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. We are getting 83.8 radian per second. Stroke is given to us 300 mm. Okay. So this data is additionally given. Stroke is equal to 300 mm. Still in this chapter we have not talked about this stroke. So keep it as it is right now. Sigma, the hook stress is 7 megapascal. So you can write 7 into 10 raised to 6 Newton per meter square, and density is 7200 kg per meter cube. Another data, since the fluctuation of speed is plus or minus 2% of the mean speed, plus or minus 2% of mean speed. Therefore, the total fluctuation of speed omega 1 minus omega 2. Omega 1 is the maximum speed, that is plus 2% of omega, and omega 2 is the minimum speed, that is negative 2% of omega. Okay, so omega 1 minus omega 2 is equal to 4% of omega. So you can write omega 1 minus omega 2 is equal to 0.04 times omega. So now if you write it like this, omega 1 minus omega 2 by omega is equal to 0.04. So now if you recall this is actually equation for coefficient of fluctuation of speed. So coefficient of fluctuation of speed is given to you 0.04. And another data that are given to you is this fluctuation of energies. And our aim is to find diameter and cross section area of flywheel. So to solve this example, we will use these equations that we have already derived. The equation of Hooke's stress, because it is also given to you, sigma is equal to rho r square into omega square is equal to rho into v square. So we will take the help of this equation. Another equation that we will use is mass is equal to volume into density. So pi dA into rho, and we are given this fluctuation of energy. So we will use the equation of fluctuation of energy. Delta E is equal to m r square omega square into Cs, or mv square into Cs. Okay, all these three equations we are already derived. So we will use now. So first of all, we find diameter of flywheel ring. So we know the equation of stress is equal to rho into v square. So sigma is known to us, rho is known to us. Okay, so only unknown left is this velocity. Okay, so we can find the velocity from equation of Hooke's stress. We simply substitute the values. Okay, and we know that v is equal to pi dn by 60. So in this equation we are having v, we are having n, the only unknown left is d. Okay. So from the velocity equation we can find the diameter of flywheel. Okay, that is our first objective. You can see we are required to find diameter. Our next step is to find cross sectional area. So from where I can find the cross sectional area? Cross sectional area is present in the equation of mass. Clear the other thing. Okay, cross sectional area is present in the equation of mass only. So I have to use this equation. So look at this equation. I have the value of density, I have the value of d, but value of mass is not given to us. The value of mass is unknown. So first I am required to find the value of mass. So mass is present in this equation of fluctuation of energy. So we can see delta E is equal to m v square into Cs. We have found this v. Cs is given to us, and delta E can be found from this data. We are given the fluctuation of energy. So delta E is actually maximum energy minus minimum energy. Okay, so we have to identify which one of these is maximum energy and which one will be minimum in our cycle. Okay, complete cycle માં જોવું પડશે. So let's move ahead. So cross-sectional area is equal to BT, B is equal to 5 times T. So we can see cross-sectional area is equal to 5 times T square. So first we'll move for finding fluctuation of energy. So you have to plot this kind of rough freehanded drawing of torque versus crank angle, and whatever energy given to you plot on this diagram and mark the points A, B, C, D, E, F, G up to L. So first assume that energy available at point A is up to E. E amount of energy is available at point A here. So at point B, we can see the whatever energy available here, we are having negative energy after that. So we will subtract this much amount of energy from A to get the energy at B. Then we will add this much amount of energy to get the energy available at point C, and likewise so on. First, we will convert this scale into Newton meter. We are given the scale that turn on y-axis 1 mm is equal to 500 Newton meter, and the crank angle on x-axis 1 mm is equal to 6 degree. Okay, we are converting this degree into radian. Okay, so we are getting pi by 30 radian. So 1 mm square, okay, this mm multiplied by this mm will make mm square. Okay. So 1 mm square is equal to 500 multiplied by pi by 30. Okay, so 52.37 Newton into meter. Okay. So you can see on this turning moment diagram 1 mm square of area is actually representing 52.37 Newton into meter of energy. So if we find this area ની વેલ્યુ આપણે આપેલી છે ઓકે એરિયા की वैल्यू ऑलरेडी हमको दी गई है 410 mm square. So if I convert this area into energy, then I can get what amount of energy is available over here. So after converting, okay, we will convert the energy at last. First, consider energy at point A is equal to E. So at point B, E minus 30. At point C, E minus 30 plus 410. Then at D, E likewise so on. So now if you look at this data, you have to find minimum energy and maximum energy in cycle. So E is equal to energy available up to resisting torque. So what is the negative? You can see here point C we are having plus 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 plus, then at point H we are having negative E minus 20, and again plus and E. So we are having two values, negative values only at point B and at point H. So out of these two, we can see that at point B, we are subtracting more amount of energy as compared to point H. So minimum energy is at point B over here. And maximum energy, you can see E plus 380 plus 100. So what is the maximum amount that we are adding? That is plus 420. So maximum energy is available at point E. So fluctuation of energy is equal to maximum energy minus minimum energy. So E plus 420 minus E minus 30. So E will get cancelled. So we are having delta E, maximum fluctuation of energy is equal to 450 mm square. So now we are using that scale and converting this mm square into Newton into meter. So multiplying it with scale, we are having 23566 Newton into meter. So we have found the value of delta E. Now we will find the mass from the equation of delta E. We know that delta E is equal to mv square into Cs. In this equation, we have found the value of delta E. We are We have found the value of B and we are having the value of CS. The only unknown left is mass. So from this equation we can find the mass which we are getting 604 kilogram. Now we have the mass. So we'll use the equation of mass is equal to pi dA into rho. In that equation only unknown left is A. So we are substituting the value of A is equal to 5 times T square, because we know that area is equal to B into T and we are given that B is equal to 5 times T. Okay, so area is 5 times T square. So in that equation now only unknown left is T. So you can find the value of T from this equation, which we are getting 85 mm. Okay. And from the relation of T and B, we can find the value of V. Now if you multiply this area is equal to B into T, then you can find the value of area also. Like this, you are required to find the area and diameter of flywheel for this kind of fluctuation of energy.